𝐿𝐤's my everything. Yet I can't stop suspecting that he has someone else. 22 I've been cold. 𝐊𝐤𝐳 POV. I run my fingers through my hair, tugging at the ends and wanting more than anything to punch a hole through the wall. How have I kept my cool this whole time? Her explanation made sense. Of course it did. Otherwise I could have gotten angry at her. I'm not sure if I could ever get mad at Hendrix. But I was terrified. I was so desperate to keep her from repeating what she did that I took out my frustration on her. The pain in my chest was unbearable when I tore apart the town looking for her. I even searched the woods for her dead body. I'm still shaken up. The terror of the situation haunts me, fear coursing through my veins like acid. In all my years I have never been as terrified as that day when Hendrix didn't show up to class or our tutoring session. I called and texted. Nothing. I had no idea what fear was until that moment. And now 𝐶's run away from me in tears. The second time it's happened, but this time it's my fault. My heart races as I whip the door open, storming down the hall after my mate. The tears in her eyes, her pain forcing itself on me. I hurt her. Not physically, but hurt feelings is almost as bad. I knew she was sensitive. That day with the cashier was enough to show me that. 𝐶's delicate. Her feelings easily hurt. I didn't take it into account. She just needs time to calm down. I didn't know what to do, or what to say. All of the emotions were bubbling up inside me. I couldn't get across how I felt. I'm not mad at her, but it's too late to tell her that. All I wanted to do was tell her how I feel, how much it hurt when I thought she was in trouble, and why did Savannah have to be there at that exact moment? Hendrix is already suspicious as it is. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilban, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. 𝐶's gone. I don't know exactly what I expected. Time works differently when Hendrix is involved. I clench my jaw as my eyes sort through the falling snowflakes. The cold chill reminds me that 𝐶's out there somewhere freezing her cute little ass off. Everything in me screams to follow her. Tear up the road until I'm banging down her door to get to her. Touch her. Comfort her. Apologize and beg for her forgiveness until my voice is hoarse. I think better of it. Somehow, I talk myself out of it. I get calm enough to force myself to take a walk in the brisk night air. This will all settle. After we clear our minds and get over it, we can talk it out. I will have my chance to set it right. It's better to wait a little while at least. I don't know how long you'll last though. I doubt it'll be more than a day. I'll at least be able to get through the night. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilban, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. I make my body put one foot in front of the other down the crunchy, snow-covered sidewalk. A slow jaunt through campus will help me. It's nearly painful, and not from the cold. In all honesty, in actually burning up from the inside. My whole body thrums with activity. My distraction seems to be working well enough. Tree, snow, the dark sky flickering with barely visible stars through the white clouds. It's all beautiful, and yet my mind is occupied by another breathtaking sight, and interrupted by a strange scent that has me wrinkling my nose. Sometimes my oversenses punish me. The smell is awful and pungent, and I know that it's perfume before I even see the woman barreling towards me. She slips on the slick ice, falling into me so I'm forced to catch her before she goes crashing down. I hear her heart beating, smell her awful scent, and I glare at her. She smells like arousal. When she pulls away, I realize I know her from somewhere. I narrow my eyes on her blonde hair and small eyes. 𝐶's that female professor I met when I met with the school's president. Slowly, I ease her back until I'm no longer touching her. I try to hide my shiver of disgust. "Oh, hey, Professor 𝐊𝐢𝐬. How are you?" she asks in a phony voice. 𝐶's acting as if what just happened was planned on her part. I doubt she would be going around trusting me falling into a stranger's arms otherwise. "Hello," I reply coolly, eyeing her suspiciously. Her sickly sweet perfume has me holding my breath. It's becoming difficult to stand. that along with her disgusting arousal, I'm not attracted to her, and I haven't even looked at another female since I found Hendrix. Speaking of Hendrix, I think of her to try to get me through the painful interaction with this creature. I haven't seen you around much. You're never in the break room, or in the cafeteria, or on campus in general. Guess you're a busy guy, how she asks. And I nod. I don't know her name. I can't remember. It wasn't important information at the time, and it's not important now either. We'll have to hang out sometime. That is if you can ever find the time. She winks at me, and I think I might be sick. I'm very busy. I reply curtly, and it's not a lie. With Hendrix, the rogue hunt, and this stupid teaching cover, all of my free time is taken. Not to mention that I wouldn't want to hang out with this woman in the first place. Just looking at her hurts my eyes. I came out here to clear my mind, not get tortured. You wouldn't free up any time for me. Not even a little. She flirts, dragging a fingernail down my shoulder. I take a step back. She's human. All it would take is a flick of a muscle to kill her here and now. 𝐊𝐢𝐳𝐧𝐼𝐬𝐳𝐬𝐑𝐞𝐫𝐬 𝐷𝐼𝐬𝐳𝐬𝐑𝐞𝐝𝐬𝐃𝐈𝐬𝐃𝐈𝐬𝐃𝐈𝐬𝐃𝐈𝐬𝐃𝐈𝐬𝐃. Simple. Unfortunately, I can't do that. Not even a little. I repeat, turning around and stalking back down the way I came. I hear her call after me, but I keep walking, picking up the pace until she inevitably gives up. Tonight I'm retiring early. I can't stay awake remembering the way I hurt my mate, and the disgusting presence of the woman who wouldn't take a hint. Hendrix 𝐊𝐲 the car is surprisingly silent. Miranda S in the front seat, and Stacy's driving. I sit in the back with my messy self, in basically a pile of sad mush, staring out the window. I watch the flurries dance in the dark. I haven't told them what happened yet, but I think they can guess. They picked me up outside of the building where 𝐊𝐲𝐻's class is. It's not hard to assume where I was, and who I was with. I picture his face and I want to cry. They calmly talked to me, ushered me into the warm car. I was a block of ice by the time they found me on the corner. I remember sitting there on the bench with my feet crossed, listening to a familiar motorcycle rumbling not too far away. Its sound carried into the night. It left me, lonely and unfeeling. I'm happy I went far enough away that he didn't see me. That would have made things awkward. My heart is still heavy as lights and cars pass us by. It's not a long drive before we lurch to a stop. The engine cuts off, the air filled with a keen wariness. Even though I'm still focused on what lies beyond the glass, I can feel my friends silently communicating in the front. I ignore them, happy to sit where I am and think of nothing and no one at all. Henny, I hum in response. An acknowledgement. Let's go inside and talk. It's Miranda that offers. I nod, but only barely. I grab my bag and open the door. The last thing I feel like doing is talking. I clamber out of the car into the freezing Arctic. My friends walk a little too close to me, as if I might fall apart on the sidewalk. I keep going until we're inside. I can't fall apart until I'm alone. I try to head straight for my room, but I'm stopped by Stacy stepping in front of me. Her arms are crossed, her lips pursed. Do you want to talk about what happened? She wonders, tapping a finger impatiently at her elbow. I stare blankly at her. Do I look like I want to talk about it? Not really. I whisper. Does it have to do with Mr. Drop your panties? She presses, and I cringe when I realize it's Cherry she's talking about with ice in her voice. A part of me wants to snap at her for saying that. The other half wants to curl up in a ball. I bite my lip to keep it from trembling. 𝐊𝐲's mad at me. He hates me. I was an idiot to think it would work out. It's over now. I'm sure he'll never want to talk to me again. I explain in a small voice. I change the subject before I collapse. I look to my other friend sheepishly. I'm really sorry. Miranda. You know, about the other night. I was angry and emotional. I lashed out, and said things that were hurtful. I'm so sorry. I murmur. Miranda's eyebrows draw together in a look of sincerity as she nears me nervously. I'm the one who should be sorry. I started it, and I never should have said what I did. It was the best way to phrase it. I'm such an awful friend, she says, wrapping me up in her arms. I nestle into her, shaking my head. You were just trying to protect me. You're an awesome friend. Miranda pulls away, silently studying my face with a gentle look on her beautiful face. We were going to go to a party tonight, but let's watch a movie instead. Stacy calls from the TV, already sifting through the piles of VHS tapes. What she says lights up something inside me, a flame of rebellion. I roll my shoulders back. No, let's go to the party, I announce, owning to sets of confused eyes. But you hate parties. Like, Miranda says, looking to Stacy to back her up. Our erratic friend jumps up into the air, flying towards us with determination. Don't try and talk her out of it. This is our chance to get her to love parties. It'll be great. She grabs my wrist, tugging me towards her bedroom. Come on, I'll do your makeup. I shudder in nervous excitement. I have no idea what I'm getting myself into. And I kind of like it. 23 gonna groove tonight. Hendrix 𝐊𝐢𝐬𝐷, my body buzzes like it's hooked up to an electric chair. I flop and jerk to the rap music, not really listening to the lyrics. I enjoy the sounds of the music I usually despise. Wait, why do I hate this music? I can't remember. My brain is all fuzzy, my body numb and sloppy. Drinking is fun. Why don't I do this more? This is amazing. I yell to no one in particular before bursting out in a fit of giggles as everyone around me dances. We're all in a pile of bodies that won't stop moving. It's like a sea of jellyfish. Smelly, silly jellyfish. I begin jumping up and down when the song changes to something more fast-paced. The lights continue to flicker on the limbs and heads swaying around the dance floor. When I lift my cup to dump the rest of my beer in my mouth, I find it empty and I whimper in disappointment. If I'm not drunk enough, Cedric will sneak into my mind. I look around desperately for my friends. Neither Stacy nor Ellie are anywhere in sight. It seems they've abandoned me. I shrug, because I really don't care, and I begin shoving my way through the mass of people. It's a hard journey for me being so short and so dizzy. I don't get mad or annoyed. In fact, I love it. My blood thrums and my ears ring in delight. My whole body is warm like I'm wrapped up in a big ol' hug. I smile brightly. It almost feels like when Cedric touches me. I stop abruptly in the middle of the crowd, nearly knocking some girl over. Stupid cherry. Hey, watch it, she demands, evil in her eyes. But my mind is too occupied to allow her words entrance. I don't care. I'm too busy being sad about Cedric. He doesn't want me. I cringe at the reminder of gorgeous Savannah strutting out of his classroom like she owned the place. He has to prefer that gorgeous supermodel to plain little Hendrix. Sorrow seeps into my bones, and I shiver, suddenly feeling cold and oh so alone. I need more alcohol to warm me up. All I need is some more drinks to make this night perfect. When I finally find my way to the drinks, the song is winding down. I squeal when punch splatters me as I fill up my solo cup. I laugh and laugh as I down some delicious liquid. Whatever it is. I know there's a lot of alcohol in it by the strong bite. It burns my throat all the way down. Hey you. I glance up, not knowing who was calling out, or if they were talking to me. My gaze lands on the DJ. The tall, handsome DJ. He looks me up and down and grins. 𝐊𝐢𝐬𝐧 good looking in his button down and with those big headphones around his neck. He isn't as attractive as Cedric. To my 𝐊𝐢𝐧𝐼𝐻 𝐬𝐻𝐼𝐻 heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. No one is attractive as my cherry. I shake my head back and forth, trying to dislodge that man from my mind. 𝐊𝐢𝐳𝐧. I don't need him. Yeah, DJ guy. The question seems to come out all jumbled, but he can somehow understand me. At least I think he does. Glancing at his computer, and then back up at me. What can I play to get you to sing? Little thing. He calls over, tilting his head at me and shooting me a wink. 𝐿𝐢 is flirting with me. I smile mischievously from ear to ear as my plan forms. This is what I've been waiting for. Here's my chance to have some real fun and forget all about Cedric. Walking over to the DJ feels like waltzing across a tightrope. I stumble and sway, but eventually make my way to his table where he types something on his keyboard. "What's your name?" he asks me, and I touch his arm and lean in closer. "Hendrix," I inform him. His dark eyes widen in surprise, and he nods exuberantly. He picks up a wireless microphone and holds it up to his thin lips. "That's a sick name. Love the accent, by the way," he tells me, and he presses a red button on the side of his microphone. It makes a noise on the speaker before his voice lets out. "Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you to meet Hendrix." The echo of my name bounces around the room with applause. Everyone is cheering while they look at me. I laugh and my mouth drops open in shock. This is so cool. Hendrix is going to pick our next, so what'll it be? Princess. When I look back over at him, the microphone is pointed at me. I grab the thing from him. "Sweet Home Alabama." I call into the microphone, my voice filling the room. The crowd goes wild, and I dance a little jig as they scream. "Man, college parties are the best. How come I've never noticed until now?" The music starts back up, and sure enough, DJ Guy plays my fine request. I immediately start dancing and moving across the floor. As the words start, I automatically start singing into the microphone. "Big wheels keep on turning, carry me home to see my kin." And a roar of the cheers keep me going. Everyone is singing right along with me, all the words slurred and jumbled. They're all watching me as I dance and sing and have the time of my life. I burst out the lyrics, feeling them connect me with my deep southern roots. The words come so easily. I've heard the song so many times through my childhood, they're ingrained in my soul. The chorus comes up and I belt it out as hard as I can. "Sweet Home Alabama, where the skies are so blue. Sweet Home Alabama, in coming home to you." The sweet liquid spread through my system. My veins sting and my heart thumps loud in my chest. My whole being thrums with the liquor I've downed. It keeps me going. The whole room sings the words in unison. All one big choir of drunk people. I sing to them while I look at their beautiful faces. Everyone is smiling. Everyone slicked in sweat. Their breaths and body heat mingling in the mosh pit. It's glorious. My high heels make me stumble, and I almost hit the floor. An arm wraps around my middle and holds me up. I giggle at the rush. "Are you okay?" My eyes wander up to Dylan. His face is red and shiny as he smirks down at me. His eyes lazy but bright in the dark room. "Dylan." Wrapping my arms around his neck and laughing my head off. The sudden rock dies down and is replaced with another rap. "Party song." My moment forgotten as the crowd goes back to the way it was before. "I thought this was your thing," he says slyly, and I pretend to punch his shoulder. Only I meant to pretend to punch him. My knuckles sting, and I know I hit him harder than I meant. 𝐿𝐤 𝐑𝐞𝐝𝐬 heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. I belch, leaning into his chest. He gives me a long hug before pulling away. "But seriously, I thought you hated parties. What happened to the hipster Hendrix I know?" I want to slap that expression off his face. I am not a hipster and you know it. 𝐿𝐤 𝐑𝐞𝐝𝐬 heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. I stumble on my feet, trying to gain my footing, and I like parties. "Well, now I do." I shrug, bursting into a fit of hiccup-filled laughter. Dylan shakes his head in amusement. Something else is hidden in his eyes. A chest filled with mysteries. "How much have you had to drink?" he wonders, and I lift my cup proudly, showcasing the spiked punch that sloshes with every jittery movement I make. Not nearly enough. And my face starts to hurt with how hard I'm smiling. The party goes on in full swing around us as Dylan leads me through the crowd. He has a strong arm around my middle section, steering me through an endless swarm of people. I trip when someone elbows me. My head goes back and forth as I gaze around at all the partygoers looking for my friends. Where are they? Don't they want to have fun with me? Everybody in the room bends together in a slush of bright lights and shapes. It's just like looking through a kaleidoscope. I'm so confused. You want a beer? I nod my head exuberantly at Dylan's question that sounds far away. Maybe more alcohol will make me feel better. We're now in the small kitchen of the frat house. There is trash on every surface, and couple against the fridge making out like no one's watching. Dylan gets them to move so he can access the fridge. But they just find the next solid, vertical surface and go at it again. It just so happens to be the wall right next to me. As soon as he hands me the beer, I crack it open and guzzle it down. I'm thirsty and dehydrated, but this stuff doesn't really quench my thirst. And it's disgusting. It tastes like sewage. Nasty. Regardless of what it tastes like, I gulp and gulp anyway. The hard bite in my mouth is enough to distract me. Hey Dylan. Peter's streaking in the backyard again. You need to catch him. We don't need the cops showing up. Some buff guy calls out from right outside the back door, his head anxiously sticking into the house. His eyes don't leave my friend. Dylan's eyes, clearly exasperated. I snort and take another long swig of my disgusting beer. Who actually likes drinking this stuff? He looks at me and raises his eyebrows. I'll be right back. 𝐸𝐴𝐸𝐸 𝐷𝐞𝐝 Heartfelt thanks for your unfading enthusiasm. He asks and I nod my head vigorously, then stopping when the room starts to spin again. Okie dokie. I salute him, and he grimaces, patting my shoulder and walking away quickly, leaving me behind. I sip at my beer. My body is suddenly woozy. Hat's a funny word. Woozy. I say slowly before breaking out into a fit of giggles. The lip-locked couple break for air just to give me a look. I stick my tongue out at them. I lean against the countertops and stare at the pretty magnets on the fridge. There's a plethora of pictures from the football team, the lacrosse team, and even a snapshot of the marching band. Grinning, I skim my gaze across the pictures in admiration. It's nice to see so many cute guys. I laugh when they start to blur and turn to fuzzy blobs. Hi, little guys. You look funny. I point at the picture and giggle helplessly to myself. While I swig some more of my drink, I stumble a little bit. I finish off the can and have a sudden renewal of energy. I want to dance some more. Let's get this music going. Then it hits me. It's as if all of the liquid I've consumed tonight go right to my bladder at once. They demand release now. I frantically look around. I need a bathroom ASAP. Move. 𝐸𝐴𝐸𝐸 𝐷𝐞𝐝 Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Bolting down the hallway and opening every door I pass, trying to look for a bathroom. I duck under a tray of shots the guy holds. 𝐸𝐴𝐸𝐸 Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. 𝐸𝐴𝐸𝐸 Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Look where you're going. He sounds pissed. Why is he pissed? This party is so fun. Maybe 𝐊𝐢𝐺 is just jealous that I'm flying through this place like a ninja. Wait, why am I being a ninja? Oh right. I have to pee like a racehorse. Wait, come back. To the thrall of people, the shot guy turns around and glares at me expectantly. He looks angry. Is he still mad? What do you want? And I say one word. Bathroom. Shot guy points upstairs with one finger, pursing his lips. I grab 2 shots from the platter and smile at him. I scuttle away and up the stairs. I take the steps 2 at a time while I down my shots. I am now a shot-taking ninja. A ninja that desperately needs a potty break. I breathe a sigh of relief when I get behind the door of the bathroom and lock it behind me. I quickly relieve myself, and leave the shot glasses on the counter. I stare at myself in the mirror, my hands gripping the counter edge. The pretty makeup that Stacy applied is a little smudged, but still intact. I wipe at the smudges. They streak even more. Black splotches surround my eyes. They make me look like a raccoon. Remembering the up and downs 𝐃𝐿𝐤 gave me, I frown at my reflection. She's a supermodel. 𝐊𝐤𝐳𝐸𝐷𝐞𝐝 𝐊𝐤𝐳𝐸𝐷𝐞𝐝 𝐃𝐿𝐤 𝐐𝐰𝐤𝐳𝐸𝐷𝐞𝐝. Native American supermodel with flowing black hair and amazing cream-colored eyes. How can I compete with that? 𝐊𝐤𝐳𝐸𝐷𝐞𝐝 𝐊𝐤𝐳𝐸𝐷𝐞𝐝. I ask my reflection, stifling a laugh when I remember my mirrored image �K𝐼𝐳. The vodka shots spread through me quickly. I can't. That's it. You'll have to call Cedric and tell him I give up. I'm a genius. I let out a large burp. It seems like a marvelous idea at the moment. I stumble out the door and into the hallway. It's dark and I stumble on the carpet. This is like a roller coaster. I can't wait to go downstairs and dance. But I have to take care of something first. I lean against the wall and slide down. Down. Down until my butt cheeks hit the floorboards. I stretch out my legs until they hit the banister to the stairs. Moaning, I bend forward and rip off my heels. They squeeze my toes. I want them gone. My hand fishes my phone from my bra and I stare at the screen. It reads 130 for 𝐊𝐤. Time flies when you're having fun. It takes me a minute to go through my contact. My brain is too fuzzy and jumbled to concentrate. I click Cedric's name without any preamble. There is no waiting. I'm going to let him have it. He needs to get out of my brain so I can have more fun. The phone rings on and on. I start to grow impatient until he finally picks up. Hello. Hendrix. His thick voice is groggy 𝐊𝐤𝐳𝐸 sleep. I woke him up. I let myself bask in a little victory. I don't care that you have her. I slur into the speaker, trying to collect my flying thoughts. It's like grasping at little birds as they fly past my face. Where are you? Why do you sound like that? He demands. His voice is more alert now. Sleep drawing away. There's rustling on the other end. In trying to have fun. That you won't go away. You won't go out of my mind. Why do you want to torture me? I ramble. I rub at my throbbing forehead. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. Hendrix. What's going on? Are you alright? I have a bunch of boys who like me. I could kiss one. I could have someone else. But I can't because of you. I let out a little sniffle and turn my head to rest on my shoulder. I love you. But you don't care about me. You like Savannah. She's so pretty TTYYY. And him not. There's nothing but silence on the other side. Baby, are you drunk? He sounds incredulous. Breathless. Cedric is never breathless. You don't love me. I'm gonna get over you and find someone new. Hell be so great. You wait and see. 𝐊𝐤𝐳𝐸𝐷𝐞𝐝 𝐊𝐤𝐳𝐸𝐷𝐞𝐝. I mean for the words to sound like I'm a boss woman. But they come out all gargle why. Tears are filling my eyes too. I thought talking to him would be a good idea. But now I'm even more sad as I face the facts. There's a crash downstairs, followed by a stream of cheers. You're at a party, aren't you? A frat party. What's gotten into you? He demands. There's rustling on his end, and I shrug. 𝐊𝐤𝐳𝐸𝐷𝐞𝐝 𝐊𝐤𝐳𝐸𝐷𝐞𝐝. And vodka. It hurt my throat. The beer was nasty too. I like the punch though. Punch is gooded. I explain. I play with the hem of my red dress and run a finger down my thigh. I'm so cold and sad. They don't have the heat on. I need more vodka. Make me warm like a blankie why? I mumble in a sing-song voice. It reminds me of the voice my daddy used to use when I was a kid. Stay right where you are. I'm coming to get you. I'm already out the door. He sounds angry and harsh. I didn't like it when he gets that way. I like soft and gentle Cherry. Mean Cherry is no fun. He has to be joking. He won't come here. He has Savannah. Remember, even though a deep sadness grips me. I'm satisfied when I end the call. Good, I say when I press the button to end the call. I stare at the screen a while longer. It's blank now. Completely black. Just like how I feel on the inside. Hey Hendrix. How do you get all the way up here? Dylan comes up the stairs. His hair is sweaty and plastered to his forehead. He wears a shiny grin of relief. And I smile at him. Yes, nice. Cedric is mean. I stand up and try to walk over to him. But I almost collapse when everything goes topsy-turvy. I'm not wearing heels and I'm still a mess. Dylan catches me with an arm around my back. Tight fingers digging into my flesh. Just a little potty break. Dylan. Just a potty break. You're such a silly goose. I lilt, trying to shift Cedric out of my mind. My sweet Dylan stares at me. A slow smile spreads across his face. I feel his hand go down to my butt and squeeze it. I squeal and then start cackling like crazy. That was hilarious. You're so. I let out a tiny hiccup. Funny. Dylan. He nods his head absently before looking around warily. And then smiling down at me again. Let's go get some more drinks. It'll be fun. He whispers. Yay, I love fun. 20 for my baby Cedric. Professor 𝐊𝐢𝐬𝐩𝐿. You coming to party or what, bro? I shove past the useless vermin that's in my way. I end up pushing him a little too hard because he goes flying to the ground a few feet away. His beard sloshes in the grass. Whoa man, he calls after me. I ignore him. I have to get to Hendrix. Imagine my surprise when I go to bed after a long day of worrying about a fight only to be woken up hours later with her calling me while she was obviously very, very drunk. I curse myself again. Have I made her that upset that she turned to alcohol to console her? And of all the places to have her first drink, a frat party filled with horny human college boys. The worst possible scenario I could think of. Guilt eats me alive. This is all my fault. I have to get her safe and warm before something happens to her. Once I'm inside the house, the smells hit me. Beer, marijuana, sweat. They all swirl together like some disgusting cocktail of disaster. I want to rip the walls down until I find her. She has to be around her somewhere. I will find her. One deep inhale and I pick up her aroma. It's not hard to miss. Every atom in my body is tuned into her scent. I push through the crowd of young humans. I tower over each and every one of them by at least a heads. My movements are carefully measured as to not hurt, or even kill, any of them. As much as I want to find my mate and then burn this place to the ground, I can't risk accidentally killing someone, even though I wouldn't mind at this point. I'm killing mad. Most of the humans stare at me as I pass. They stop to watch me in fear, some even trembling. I don't know if it's because of my appearance physically, or the fact that I'm a professor crashing a party, but I don't care. I shoulder past a few more people until I come to the living room where most of the party is going on. Countless humans dance to the loud music, grinding and swaying. My mate is in that crowd. My arrival hushes some of the noise as the mortals stop and stare at me. They back away to make space. As soon as I'm in the room, I spot her amongst the group. Her little head is barely visible through the dancing herd. I shove through, desperate to reach her. I knock a few people over on my way. They go tumbling down, and I don't give them a second glance. I have one thing on my mind. Hendrix. Heads are turned. Eyes are widened when I plow through to get to my mate. When I reach her, she's looking up at me. Her beautiful brown eyes are clouded over with a glossy sheen, and are covered in filth. Black rings of makeup are smeared all around them. Her curly hair is a mess. She reeks of cheap alcohol, and almost completely covers her natural scent. I growl and wrap my hand around her wrist, my fingers swallowing her arm. I pull her towards me and lean down closer to her. Her full lips part. What are you doing? Who brought you here? I ask with concern, knowing full well she didn't try her bike all the way here. She stares up at me in confusion, squinting her eyes, and then she tries to pull away. I barely feel the small attempt. Instead of letting her go, I get closer. I repeat, Hendrix clucks her tongue at me before shaking her head. The scent of a familiar human male draws my attention back up. It's Dylan, the one from her band that I already hate. I hate him even more now. The pathetic boy holds 2 drinks in his hand. One is very clearly meant for my mate, and by his smell I know 𝐊𝐲 almost completely sober. He knows that Chester dropped to function and is supplying her with more drinks. There is only one gnawing explanation in the back of my head, and I want to deny it. Because if it's true I am about to murder this kid here and now, it would only take a second. One move and 𝐊𝐲'd be dead. It would be so easy. The burning sensation of trying to claw its way out of my skin alarms me. I can't shift. Not here. Not now. I need to remain calm. I take a deep breath, letting the scent of my mate splay along my tongue and float down my throat. I'm here now. Hendrix is safe now that the situation is in my hands. Dylan takes a step back, fear clear in his eyes. I get closer to him. Everything in me wants to tear him to shreds. I grab his wrist, yanking him towards me. And I can feel that the bone in his arm is on the verge of snapping. The temptation to hurt him is all too strong. I have to remind myself that if I kill him, my relationship with Hendrix won't be easy. I could get sued, and she'd be caught up in all of it. You talk to her, look at her, even think about her ever again, and I will kill you. Do you understand? I ask calmly, my teeth clenched. The room is still booming with music and dancing. People are still staring, but it's not as bad anymore. Dylan nods. Terror makes his face paler than a sheet. I take a small whiff of a disgusting scent. Urine. I made the little human wet himself. That ought to do it. We're leaving, I say to my mate, and I bend down to lift her into my arms in one fell swoop. Hendrix clings to me. It's only now that I realize she's in a short dress. A very short dress. I let out an unhappy rumble. It's 25 outside. She's going to freeze. Not to mention the amount of skin it reveals. I doubt any male in the room missed the opportunity to lay at us an object instead of a living creature with a heart and soul. You better put me down. She struggles and tries to wiggle out of my grasp. I ignore her pleas and start for the door. I'm getting her out of here right now. I don't know who you are, but if you touch me inappropriately, my boyfriend will come after you. She mumbles. She's so drunk she doesn't even recognize me. Well, this just keeps getting better and better. I bump into the occasional person, but nothing major. Now that I have her, I'm not in a big rush. Many humans have gone quiet and watch me as I carry her away. This will most definitely stir up some gossip, but I don't seem to care enough to stop. Seriously, my boyfriend, he'll be mad. You don't want to mess with him. She grumbles. She fights my hold, but her struggle is useless. She's only a weak little human after all. I roll my eyes as we make our way out the door and down the lawn that's littered with countless red Solo cups. And who is this boyfriend of yours? I ask out of curiosity. I regret the words as soon as they come out of my mouth. I can only hope that whatever she says doesn't upset me even more. He'll tell Cedric and he'll beat you up. 𝐊𝐲𝐵 and he'll do anything I say. Hendrix demands, her words slurring. I grin at that. She just called me her boyfriend, and now I'm grinning like an idiot. Anything you say? I assume this Cedric person means a lot to you. My eyes set on the Suburban across the street. My pace is quick. It's too cold out for her in the skimpy dress she wears. I press her more snugly against my chest. Hendrix has finally stopped fighting me. Her head rests slightly on my shoulder. 𝐊𝐲𝐵 the best. He is so handsome and sweet. But 𝐊𝐲𝐵 scary. 𝐊𝐲𝐵 big and tough and no one can touch him because 𝐊𝐲𝐵 so scary. Like the boogeyman. She mumbles. I slow as her words put a pit in my stomach. Does she really think that of me? I never smell fear when she's around. I thought she was afraid of me. You're scared of him? I ask Hendrix gruffly. I can't help but feel weird at referring to myself in the third person. I'm waiting for her to say yes. I've known for a long time that I'm not the most approachable. Centuries of living have showed me how terrifying I am to those around me. I've never cared about that until now. I can feel her shake her head adamantly. He could never scare me. Yes, my cherry. I love him so much. She breathes. And then there's that. I never thought the first time I would hear my mate tell me she loved me would be when she was drunk off her ass. She already admitted it over the phone, but now hearing it in person is almost just as heart-wrenching. I love her more than anything. It's clear she feels the same way. I don't know what I did to deserve her love, but I will try every single day to be worthy of it. When we reach the Suburban, I unlock it and round the car. I slip Hendrix into the passenger seat with one arm. She slumps into the chair and giggles when I grab for the seat belt. I buckle her in, leaning back to look at her. Safety first. I look at her and that drunken smile she wears. It warms me up inside. I lean forward and kiss her on the forehead. Apparently my mate is like a child when she's drunk. Hendrix jumps when her phone starts ringing. The loud noise of the device startling her. She begins laughing again as she pulls it out. The screen says Miranda, her liking friend. Anger simmers inside me. Let me take that. Baby, you sit tight. 𝐊𝐢𝐳𝐸𝐾𝐜 Heartfelt thanks for your unfading 𝐊𝐢𝐳𝐸𝐬𝐷. I brush her hair away from her cheek with my knuckles. My other hand goes to swipe the phone out of her grasp. She lets me take it. Thankfully, she doesn't object in the slightest. Hendrix just nods her head with a little innocent grin on her face. Damn, she's adorable. I close the door tight after making sure none of her limbs are hanging out of the car. Then I walk over to the hood. I take a deep breath before answering the phone. Hendrix. Henny. Where are you? Where did you go? Her friend, Miranda, asks frantically. Her voice is shrill and demanding on the other end of the line. I wait silently for a few seconds before replying. The real question is, where are you? I say slowly, making it clear that I'm pissed. Professor Rai, what are you doing with Hendrix's phone? Where is she? She questions. Her voice is filled with accusations and I growl low. How did she get to the party? Miranda. She's quiet for a while. I know the answer before she says anything. Well, we brought her. She was sad after you broke her heart. We thought she would want some fun. We left her there for a while to go outside. When we came back, she was just gone. Her explanation is all it takes to send me flying off the handle. How long did you leave her alone? Clearly enough for her to get blackout drunk and call me. I got to her just in time. Some guy was getting her more drinks. I can only imagine what he would have done with her. Each word. Once again, the urge to shift and destroy overcomes me. I know the one thing to cure that urge. I turn around to glance at Hendrix through the windshield to reassure myself. I find her leaning against the door of the car. She's blowing on the cool glass of the window and drawing hearts and smiley faces in the fog with her fingertip. I watch as she grins. My heart pangs again. It kills me to think what could have happened. She's so small and innocent and trusting, and powerless to stop anyone who wants to hurt her. 𝐊𝐢𝐳𝐸𝐬𝐷. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Hendrix got drunk. She doesn't drink. Miranda demands. But I can hear the fear and trembling in her otherwise stern voice. She most certainly did tonight. You left her unattended, and that could have cost her dearly. Why would you leave her? Exasperated, I start pacing in the snow. It crunches under my boot, echoing in the dark along with my labored breathing as I try to calm myself down. She doesn't like parties. She sits in the corner by herself, observing everything. We didn't think she would be in danger. Is she all right? Can I talk to her? I can tell she's being sincere, but it doesn't fix anything. Amanda and the other girl, the Asian werewolf girl with weird clothes, they care about Hendrix. They're a pack of sorts, and that makes Miranda the alpha. It's her natural instinct to take care of her pack, protect them. She hasn't done a good job of it. No, you can't. I'll return her later. I will take care of her tonight since you're apparently too busy. I hang up before she gets the chance to answer, and I shove the phone in my pocket. I won't be giving Hendrix the phone back until I'm sure she won't be making any more surprise calls. I slip into the car and turn the key, and the Suburban revs to life. The heat comes on full blast, and I curse myself for not starting the car earlier. Hendrix must have been freezing. "You all right, baby?" And when she looks over to me, recognition finally flares in her gaze. 𝐿𝐢𝐳𝐸𝐷𝐞𝐫𝐬, heartfelt thanks to your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. The endearment rolls off her lips easily. I sigh and push the messy hair out of her face again. She finally recognizes me. "Yes, you called. Remember?" I ask gently. She nods and leans into my hand, my bare palm swallowing up her whole cheek. I become agitated when I see that a thick layer of makeup covering up her freckles. I wipe at it with my thumb until I can see them again. I love those little freckles splattered across her nose. Whoever covered them up did her an injustice. "How did you find me?" She wonders and I shrug, smiling at her. There's 2 frats on campus, and only one party happening tonight. I connected the dots. I tell her reverently. I can't seem to look away from her beautiful face. Despite the mess of makeup, she's gorgeous. Nothing can ever make her less appealing to me. "Yeah, you're so smart," she mumbles, her syllables slurring together in a jumbled mess. She continues to watch me with a smile. "Whose car is this?" she asks very suddenly, looking around the vehicle in wonder. "Savannah's," I answer, but I immediately regret it when her face falls. Hendrix still thinks my beta and I have something going on. That's what started this whole entire mess in the first place. Hendrix says insecurities are getting in the way. I have to put this to rest once and for all. I grab her chin in my hand when she tries to look away, when I carefully pull her face to look at me. Tears shimmer in her eyes. "Goddess, I'm such an idiot. Nothing, and I mean nothing, is happening between Savannah and I other than friendship. We're just friends. I've known her for a very long time. She's like a sister to me. 𝐿𝐢𝐳𝐸𝐷𝐞𝐝 𝐸𝐻𝐿, heartfelt thanks to your unfailing patience, enthusiasm." I ask gently, in treading on very dangerous territory here. "How long?" She presses, biting her lip. It draws my attention to her mouth, and I want nothing more than to kiss her. "A few 100 years," I explain nonchalantly, and she giggles despite her sour mood, thinking it's a joke. If only she knew how ancient I really am. I doubt she'd be laughing then. "Let's get you to bed. What do you say?" I ask quietly. The car is now filled with warm air from the heater. Hendrix just nods her head, pushing a heap of brown curls out of her face. I just love looking at her. I hope I won't crash with the distraction she poses just by sitting next to me. It's easier on the bike. I drive her back to my apartment, and she doesn't say a word for the majority of the trip, not even when we pass her apartment building. My lungs catch when I realize just how easy it would have been for someone to take advantage of her inebriation. She's uninhibited. She wouldn't have put up a fight if Dylan tried something. Gripping the steering wheel a little more firmly in my hands, I dare a glance in her direction and let her scent calm me. I know if Dylan were in front of me right now, it'd punch a hole through his smug face. I wish she'd been at the party. It was so fun. Hendrix tells me, her feet in the chair as she hugs her knees to her chest. Hendrix looks at me like I hold the world in my hands. And maybe I do. This tiny human teenager's my life now. I wish I was there too. Baby. Then I would have been able to monitor how much she was drinking. But I don't had that. If my mate came to me and told me she wanted to drink for the first time, I would have gladly been there to make sure it went smoothly and safely, preferably somewhere less loud and not filled with human boys. I got to pick a song, and the whole crowd was singing. It was one of my daddy's favorite songs because he grew up in Alabama. She explains, and I tense, knowing that her father is probably a sensitive subject. She never brings him up. She looks remarkably calm though, looking out the window at the passing street lights with the ghost of a smile on her face. Despite Stavros' offer to dig into Hendrix's past, I haven't let her. I want to know what Hendrix's dad did that makes him so hard for her to talk about. But I also want her to tell me in her own time. When we pull up to the apartment, I carefully pull my mate from the car. She nestles sweetly in my arms, humming a song as I carry her up the cement stairs. By the time I have the door open and set her down, she's already clinging to me. "No, Cherry, I want you to hold me," Hendrix insists. And I sigh, shaking my head before taking her to my bedroom. It's not that I don't want to hold her, or that it's physically difficult, but she needs to get some rest. As do I. If I'm not asleep in the next few minutes, I might hunt down Dylan. Tonight has been a long night already, and I'm hoping she won't fight me. Despite her pleading, I put Hendrix down and go to my dresser to get her one of my T-shirts to sleep in. When I hand it to her, she immediately starts unzipping her tiny red dress, and my eyes go wide with panic. She innocently slips the dress down. I can't look away for a few seconds as she exposes her body. All she has on is a matching set of lacy underwear. I clear my throat, looking around the room frantically to try to shift my focus on literally anything else. Once she's dressed, I can't look away. She looks so little and tempting in my shirt. It's longer on her than the dress she was wearing. Hendrix walks over to me and wraps her arms around my waist. She sighs as she leans her head against my chest, and I gladly embrace her. She's too short for me to rest my chin on her head, but I hold her to me tightly. I don't know what I would have done if something happened to her. She's everything to me. After only a month and a half, she's become all I think about, all I want. I run a hand down her head and cup her neck as I pin her to me to calm her some more. She hasn't let go, and we've been standing here for over 10 minutes. Oh, I hear a little whisper of dread before Hendrix lets go of me and runs away in one swift motion. I follow her quickly, panic filling me. Thankfully, she finds the bathroom her first try. Hendrix dives for the toilet and he's into the white basin. The sound of her retching breaks my heart. I flick on the hallway light, kneeling beside her and pulling her mass of curls away from her face so they don't get soaked. I automatically rub her back in circles, shaking my head at the vast amount of vomiting she goes through. This night has done a number on her. She's a bit of a mess right now. I blame myself. She pulls up slowly, gripping the toilet so tightly her knuckles are as white as the tiles surrounding us. She gives me a guilty look, her dark eyes steeped in sorrow. 𝐊𝐢𝐳𝐷𝐞𝐿 Heart thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Hendrix murmurs, and I shake my head and wipe at the corner of her mouth. No, don't be sorry. I'm going to take care of you, baby. 𝐊𝐢𝐳𝐷𝐞𝐿 Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. She nods, sniffling and rubbing tiredly at her eyes. Let's get you to bed. I carry her away, hoping that the guilt inside me will somehow ease. It doesn't. 25 behind the wheel, Hendrix POV, and pulled out of the darkness with a thump. A big thump that won't go away. It consistently wages war with me in my head. What is going on? What's doing that? When I try to sit up, a groan splits the air. It was involuntary. I can't help it. I feel like I've been hit by a truck. Staring around the room, my heart sinks in my chest. I don't know where I am. The dark walls, the curtained windows, I'm sick to my stomach, and terrified. I take a deep breath to try and calm myself down. Try and think. An unfamiliar scent greets me. Just when I'm about to call out for him, he walks right through the door. You're finally awake. I thought you might be dead, Cedric says, a bit too gruffly, putting a bottle of Advil and a glass of water on the nightstand. I'm relieved I'm in his place instead of some random stranger. It's still unsettling to wake up somewhere and have no idea how I got here. As I try to recall how I ended up in this bed, my head splits and I hiss in pain, clutching my skull. It hurts so bad. Mistakes have been made. That's one thing I know for sure. Jerry is there in a second, sitting on the bed and pulling me into his lap. 𝐊𝐤𝐳 so warm and cozy, like a big teddy bear. I snuggle into him without a second thought. My cheek brushes his stubble-covered jaw. His face is always covered in dark hairs. Last night was a fiasco. He grumbles, grabbing the bottle of Advil and dumping a few pills in his hand, forcing me to take them. After I swallow the pills, I sip on the water and thought, I don't know how I ended up here. That freaks me out. I got drunk and somehow ended up staying at Cedric's apartment overnight. The story that led me here can't be good. I need someone to fill in the missing spots. Speaking of, what exactly happened last night? I ask reluctantly, in kind of afraid to find out. It's all a big blob of moments, and fuzzy scenes of drinking and dancing like an animal. I definitely shouldn't have gone to that party. And yet, I was feeling sad, and I can't exactly go back in time. I remember when I had my first drink, and it was nothing short of awful. My mother's words came to mind when I held that shot in my hand, and then I drowned my sorrows. 𝐊𝐢𝐳𝐸𝐷 𝐊𝐢𝐳𝐸𝐷. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. But only for so long. The morning after is definitely not worth it, or waking up with no memory. That's definitely a con as well. Which the last thing you remember? Cedric presses, and I shrug, racking my throbbing brain. I know I'm supposed to be mad at him, but not anymore. I never really was. I just thought 𝐊𝐲𝐷 want nothing to do with me. I guess I was wrong. I think I sang Sweet Home Alabama in front of everyone. I admit in embarrassment. I would never do something like that sober unless someone held me at gunpoint. My stomach turns over. What else did I do last night? Sherry smiles a small smile. Yeah, you told me about that on the way here. He admits, you called me while you were at the party, going off on me like a mad woman. I came and got you. I literally carried you out against your will. You didn't recognize me. I blush, heat climbing my neck. How embarrassing. What else? I choke out. Hearing about my intoxicated escapades is like watching a car wreck. I want to look away, but I can't. 𝐶edric's crunches his black eyebrows in though, holding me snugly in his lap. I took you back here, got you cleaned up, and put you to bed. He explains casually as he strokes my hair. I notice him in an oversized t-shirt. He's unassuming, and all my makeup is gone. He took care of me in my time of need. He washed my face free of the cake of makeup that must be looked like a mess. Put me in his big clothes and comfy bed. Not to mention the Advil. I wrap my arms tightly around him. My cherry is everything to me. 𝐊𝐲𝐻 so kind and gentle. So perfect. Words can't describe how I feel about him. Like gravity. He grounds me. Thank you. I whisper, holding tight like he might drift away. My head going up and down on his chest as his lungs contract. You're welcome. I just don't want you doing that again. Baby, you scared me to death. I cringe when he reminds me of our fight that was really a fight. I still hold some guilt over all that happened, and this just adds to it. I feel like I'm going into debt with all the favors 𝐊𝐲𝐻 is doing for me. About all of it, especially leaving without telling you. I explain, shaking my head profusely at how stupid I am. How silly I must seem to him. 𝐊𝐲𝐻 in his 30s. He has life figured out, and I'm just a kid fighting reality. 𝐊𝐲𝐻's way too mature for me. Cedric pulls me back a little bit so he can see me. I just wish you'd consider my sanity. He presses his lips together. We were both at fault. I'm sorry I hurt your feelings. I was just crazy when I couldn't contact you. Your insecurities didn't help. I wish you could see that you're the only one I want. I let what he says sink in. I agree with him one. I also have new insights to share with him on the topic. I look into his ruby red eyes and grin. After what you did for me last night, I have no more insecurities. Actions speak louder than words. I murmur, leaning in and giving him a kiss full of passion. A thank you kiss. He reciprocates, his strong lips sliding against mine with heated breaths. gripping the front of his shirt, twisting the collar in my fists. His tongue slides into my mouth, and I moan. I get closer. I have to be closer. I start to get antsy. I want more. My life depends on it. My impatience grows with every second of contact. I know he can tell, because he pulls away. Typical cherry. Every time I think, well, take it to the next base, he draws back. I wonder when we can go to the next level. Or if he will. Maybe he doesn't want to have sex with me. Isn't that ridiculous? Why would he want to be together and not want to sleep with me? Am I not attractive enough? Do you not want me that way? I ask quietly, a little disappointed. My voice is barely a whisper. His eyes widen at my bold question. Of course I do. Baby, believe me, I want you too much. It's a constant struggle not to give in. He admits earnestly, his voice all raspy and sexy. He tucks a stray piece of hair away from my cheek. His lips are swollen and glistening from our kisses. Then why don't you? Cedric chuckles at my question. He can tell how frustrated I am, and 𝐊𝐲𝐬𝐷 drawing amusement from it. I hardly thought you would be the one trying to persuade me into having sex. He muses, staring at my face like I'm the most beautiful girl in the world. I bite my lip, trying not to laugh. That makes two of us, I reply, still a little peeved, but in good humor. It will happen, eventually. Believe me, I'll make sure of that. He assures me, flashing me a small smile as he cups my face in his hands. I want to take this slow. There are a few reasons why I'd rather wait, but I mainly want you to be sure that you're ready. I nod. To my agent 𝐷𝐸𝐬𝐷 𝐊𝐢𝐳𝐷. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, 𝐿𝐢𝐳𝐷. I don't want to interrogate him on his reasons to wait, because I kind of get it. I've always wanted to wait to lose my virginity to someone I love. In high school I didn't date much. I was too busy working to hang out with many boys. If I didn't have to pay for my mother's treatment, maybe things would have been different. Just to let you know, I've never done it before. 𝐼𝐴𝐴𝐿. I hope and pray it won't get a negative reaction. I'm not surprised. Not that you aren't beautiful, but you are only 18. He reminds me of my young age, and I cringe. Of course he would remember that one little fact. At least he doesn't seem fazed that I'll be taking the virginity of a teenager. I guessed that's a plus. Yeah, I get it. I'm a fetus compared to you. You're just a bitter old man. And Cedric pretends to be appalled. His mouth drops open, and his hands grab my wrists. Old man, huh? He questions me, and I giggle when he starts to tickle me. I try to shove him away, but 𝐊𝐲𝐻 too heavy, too strong. When it comes to physical strength, I have no chance against him. He rolls me underneath him, pinning me to the mattress and attacking me with neck kisses. I can't stop laughing. It takes control of my whole body. Everything feels right in this moment. No one can hurt me here. No one can take away my joy. Eventually, we make it out of bed. My headache is still going strong, but it's slowly easing. I'm thankful for that. Not to mention, I have a high pain tolerance. It comes with the territory when you grow up the way I did. I jump in the shower, almost slipping in my haste. I'm way too excited to wash last night's stink off of me. I take my time, and it ends up being a long shower. The hot water steams up around me. I grab a bottle of body wash, and I scrub myself clean. It's guy's body wash, but I don't care. It smells like Cedric, and that's all that matters. It smells like safety. I end up wearing another one of 𝐷𝐸𝐷's shirts as a dress with his leather jacket over top. The whole outfit is kind of cute, and a little bit ridiculous. It's so oversized that only my calves are showing. Unfortunately, I lost the shoes I was wearing. The stilettos are doubtlessly still sitting in the frat house somewhere, waiting to be tripped on. I don't feel bad though. I'm sure that house is still a wreck even now. So I call on a pair of wool socks that Cherry lends me. He insists on carrying me out to the car. I cling to him, the cold not so uncomfortable with his warmth. The mounds of snow look pretty daunting though. He puts me in the front seat, and I see the Suburban is already on. The heat is full blast. He must be done that while I was in the shower. I guess he knows how sensitive I am to cold weather. I cut myself a nice one. When he drives off, I sigh in contentment. I'm so glad our fight is over. It was our first disagreement, and hopefully our last. I hate him being mad at me. I hate people being mad at me at all, but especially him. I want him to be happy. I want to please him. Seeing him upset hurts me. So where are we going? I wonder, hoping and praying he doesn't drop me off at my apartment. Cedric already gave my phone back to me, and it was blown up with text messages and unanswered phone calls. Amanda is worried about me after last night. Cedric is not happy with her. That's the light way of saying he basically hates her. I'm not surprised. I find it kind of crappy that her and Stacy left me at that party alone. I know Cedric didn't go into details, because he doesn't want to put a strain on the relationship I have with my friends, but I can tell it was pretty. It's a good thing I called him. He saved me from a catastrophe. I'm going to buy you some shoes. I find it an odd statement, but I isn't till I look down at my sock-covered feet. Yeah, maybe shoes of my own are a good idea. I guess it's better than trying to borrow a pair of his size for teen shoes. I want to insist on paying for them myself, but I know better. He won't ever let me pay him back. I cheers to chivalrous for that. You okay? Is it warm enough? He wonders, messing with the vents until Fat aimed at me. I roll my eyes playfully. He always acts like I'm a delicate little flower. I'm fine, thank you. And he nods. That you are. I blush when he says that. I didn't mean it that way. And he knows it. He just loves complimenting me to watch me turn red. We pull into the parking lot of Target. It's the only place to buy shoes within 10 miles. Our little college town isn't exactly hop-in. I pick out a pair of brown snow boots that go up to my ankles, and they go surprisingly well with my outfit. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Noble, heartfelt thanks to your unfailing 𝐊𝐢𝐧𝐚𝐫. We go on our merry way. I don't miss the fact that Cedric holds my hand the entire time we walk up and down the aisles. Callus' covered hand is warm in my own. Life doesn't seem like it can get any better than this. And yet, it does. Cedric drives me around until we end up at the movie theater somehow. He doesn't explain. He just leads me in while I grin like a gay kid. He buys me candy and popcorn. Even an issy. I don't take it for granted. Growing up, I never got to do stuff like this. I never went to the movies growing up. I've only been to times in my whole life, and this makes it 3. I thank him profusely, but he keeps shrugging it off, assuring me that he is happy to spoil me. I blush at that. Of course he likes to spoil me. She is sent from heaven above. I've decided to stop fighting him on buying me things. I actually enjoy it. Also, I notice that nearly every time we pass another girl, their eyes wander to him. They can't look away. Their eyes glow with appreciation, and then resentment when they see us holding hands. I want to punch every single one of them in their pretty faces. I think Cedric picks up on my possessiveness since he has a smug smirk on his face. I would be annoyed if he was so beautiful. He lets go of my hand, putting an arm over my shoulders. I'm so little compared to him. Even a small fraction of his arm weight on me is a lot. We sit through the film silently, the armrest between us propped out of the way so we can cuddle. I hug my knees to my chest, happily enjoying my snacks. Once in finished eating, I get another snack. Cherry starts kissing me. No wonder her wanted to sit in the very back row. Yes, cheeky. I hope we aren't too obvious, but him too caught up in it to really make an effort to be subtle. When he pulls me into his lap, I feel complete. Try as I might have to keep it from happening. I've fallen in love with him. I just didn't know it would feel this good.